Can you just talk a bit about what the budget means to Northern Ontario?
Absolutely, be happy to. This budget this year was a very special one, and it was about finding a fiscally sustainable way for us to find a path to balance. But it was doing it in a fashion that was going to protect what matters most to the people of Ontario, Northern Ontario, and Sault Ste. Marie. And the things that matter the most to us all are making sure that we have good, quality, sustainable healthcare, publicly funded healthcare, healthcare that will last generations to come, to make sure that our kids and our grandkids' kids, that they will make sure that they have good world-class healthcare. It's about making sure we have good world-class education for years to come, for future generations. So the path to balance will happen within 5 years, while we still make incredibly new and stronger investments into healthcare and education, and make sure that we protect our frontline workers, and we invest in job creation, and that we have new jobs coming into our economy. These are things that are important to all Ontarians, but certainly to the people of the North, and certainly many more great things for Northern Ontario in particular.
Can you speak to some of the other things?
Certainly. So, for instance, obviously, we know in the North we have an aging population. We've looked at the issue that we have in our hospitals, with hospital wait times being what they are. A lot of people getting treated in hallways. We wanted to ensure that we find a way to reduce those wait times. So we've made investments into dental care to make sure that seniors, low-income seniors, can get free dental care. So we've invested just short of $100 million to making sure that seniors can have that dental care covered who financially qualify. We've made investments into education, $800 million additional investment just this year into education alone. We're creating new Indigenous programming, just shy of $4 million this year going into Indigenous programming to make sure that we can help Indigenous people find work and be able to complete their schooling and be job ready. And hospital, again, looking at specific hospital funding, we've added $384 million to hospitals, $267 million to home and community care. And in fact, I think one of the greatest things I'm proud of is we've done this path to balance in 5 years in a responsible way, but done it in a way that we've also managed to give $26 billion worth of relief, and that's billion with a B, $26 billion worth of relief to Ontario families through programs such as getting rid of the cap and trade program, saving Ontario taxpayers $10 billion. The various tax grabs that we are no longer pursuing to the equivalent of $3 billion. The LIFT program worth $2 billion, which we've talked about before. One that I'm extremely proud of right now is $2 billion that we're giving back to the people of Ontario through the CARE program. That's the Child Care Access and Relief Fund, and that is going to allow parents who financially qualify, so if you make under $150,000 a year, you are going to be able to get up to 75% of your child care costs back. That's 75%, upwards of 75% that you will get back in child care costs, and that's getting you the services that you want, how you want them, and giving you the choice as a parent to pick and choose what kind of a service provider you want, whether you want to hire a nanny or a babysitter, and on your hours, not the usual 9 to 5 daycare schedule. There's so many programs. $4 billion we're giving back to Ontario families and people specifically so that they can have job through a job creation investment incentive program we've created. $4 billion in electricity rebates. There's just so much more, and all done in a fashion that brings us back to balance, to finally getting back to balance within 5 years so that we can protect what matters most, and that is our healthcare and education. And unfortunately, those things were so severely compromised because of the horrible financial situation we were left in by the former government. We were looking at a $15 billion deficit is what we inherited from the former Liberal government. 15 years of mismanagement left us with $15 billion in the hole. We have already brought it down to $11.7 billion, and by year end we'll be down to $10.3 billion, and within another 4 years thereafter, we will be at a balanced budget, preserving those things that matter most. Healthcare and education.
So you speak about education. Can you talk a bit about the benefits to Northern Ontario with the new performance-based education for the colleges and universities?
Certainly, you look at our colleges and universities, the ability for them to have that program will allow them to compete. They still have grants that they're receiving. These are all great measures for the universities and our colleges throughout the north. Work that we are doing through experiential learning programs is going to help a great deal to help our colleges and our university students to be able to really find work when they come out of school. And you look at the work we've already done by a reduction of 10% tuition for students, that's giving students the opportunity to keep more money in their pocket. That allows students the opportunity and the flexibility to not only keep that more money in their pocket, but it allows students to have more choice of where they want to go to school because they have less tuition to have to pay. There's so many great things that we're doing by really just showing everybody that you don't have to have austerity measures to save money. By making critical investments, we can protect what matters most. And what matters most to us, as I've said, healthcare, education, but also making sure that we can get our people back to work. And getting our people back to work is incredibly important. And that is why we are doing the types of investments we are doing in the colleges and universities, and really trying to work on the skilled trades. As you know, we're here. I'm just in the midst of student committee work that we're doing to try to make sure we can get our young people in Sault Ste. Marie to work. And we're doing a huge initiative right now to promote the skilled trades because, as you know, it's a huge gap in our labor market here in Sault Ste. Marie. And looking forward to doing that work. And I think at this point in time, I've got to run because the students are waiting for me right now. We have to get kicking on the end of our phase 1, and we're moving into phase 2 as I move on to visit the schools in the coming weeks and speak to all students about all the great opportunities we have in our community. And happy you took the time to speak with me today.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.